Hello and welcome. This is another of my history teaching videos, and I've been talking about Gnostics. And if you want to read the Gnostic writings for yourself, which I recommend, this book is available, The Gnostic Gospels of Jesus, at Barnes& Noble and Amazon and all of the large book outlets. Sometimes we just hear other people talking about what the scriptures say, and they can't cover everything. So I recommend that if you're really interested, that you do get a copy. And some of it won't make much sense, but then when people talk about it, you can check it out. Also, I hope if you're interested in these kinds of topics, that you'll subscribe to this channel and uh, and check that bell so that you're notified each time something is uploaded. Well, when I heard about the Gnostic myth, I thought that there was a flaw in it because first it says that Sophia mistakenly creates Yaldabaoth and that he has no remembrance of the place from which he came, that he knows nothing, that he thinks the only thing above him is his mother who created him. And yet later it says that he made man in the image of God. Well, if we're made in the image of the what the Gnostics called the Jewish God, then we would be flawed and evil like everything else that he made. And yet Gnostics believe that we're made in the image of the Barbelo or the one true God or the Christ. And so how did this happen? So I want to actually read some of the myth to you. I like to give it in its own words. Now, some people like to just talk at you, but I think if you hear it from the original source, and then you know that it's not just my ideas. So this is what happened. The arrogant one took power from his mother. That is her creation. And he was ignorant, for he thought that no one existed except his mother alone. When he saw the throng of angels that he had created, remember, he decided to have a creation of his own, he exalted himself over them. Now, when Sophia the mother realized that the trappings of darkness had come into being imperfectly, she understood that her partner had not collaborated with her. She repented with many tears, and the whole realm of fullness, the entirety is sometimes called the fullness or the pleroma, heard her prayers of repentance and offered praise on her behalf to the invisible Virgin Spirit, and the Spirit consented. Now, she was to remain in the ninth heaven until she had restored what was lacking in herself, right? She wasn't immediately taken back to her own eternal realm, but instead to a position above herself, because when she created him, some of her power had gone to her son, and she was to restore that. Then a voice called from the exalted heavenly realm, humankind exists, the child of humankind. Now, the first ruler, that is another term for Yaldabaoth, heard the voice and thought it had come from his mother. He didn't realize its source. It is coming from the invisible spirit or the Barbelo above his mother. The holy, perfect Mother Father, the complete forethought, the image of the invisible one, being the Father of all, through whom everything came into being, the first human. This is the one who showed them and appeared in human shape. The entire realm of the first ruler, remember that the first ruler is Sophia's son, Yaldabaoth. and the foundations of the abyss shook, and the bottom side of the waters above the material world was lit up by this image that had appeared. I remember um, at the time, the concept of our world, the physical planet, was very different than it is today. And tradition had said that there were waters under the earth and that there were waters held above the earth because, of course, they saw rain come down from heaven. And the clouds are in our atmosphere, they're above where we live, but they thought it was kind of like a vault, a storage vault in heaven of water. And so the way they're describing this is that on the bottom side of this vault of heaven, the of the material world was lit up by an image that appeared. And when all the authorities, that is, those demons that Yaldabaoth had created, and the first ruler stared at this appearance, they saw the whole bottom side as it was lit up. And through the light, they saw the shape of the image in the water. So Yaldabaoth said to the authorities with him, "Come, let us create a human being after the image of God and with a likeness to ourselves, so that this human image may give us light." And they created, through their respective powers, according to the features they were given, uh, each of the authorities contributed a psychical feature corresponding to the figure of the image they had seen, and they created a being like the perfect first human and said, "Let us call it Adam, that its name may give us power of light." Now, there are several pages describing this creation where each of the authorities is named and the part of the human that they contributed to the creation. Remember, of course, in Genesis, God says, "Let us make man in our image," using plural words. And it has always been a question who the us is. Is it angels? Is that a reference to the Trinity? That's what Trinitarian Christians eventually decided. But this is the Gnostic take on it, that the us, the God who is creating this actual being, is making it in the image of the ultimate God, but using the authorities that he has created to make it. So all the angels and the demons worked together until they fashioned the psychical body. But for a long time, their creation did not stir or move at all. When the mother, that's Sophia, wanted to take back the power that she had relinquished to her son, now being called the first ruler of this earth, she prayed to the most merciful mother, father of all, that would be to the invisible spirit, and to the Barbelo. Remember that triune family, the Father, the Mother, and the Son. With a sacred command, the Mother Father sent 5 luminaries down upon the place of the angels of the first ruler. So the invisible spirit actually sends luminaries, sends spiritual beings down to the realm of the first ruler. And they advised him so that they might recover the mother's power. So they're actually going to trick him. They're telling him to do something to bring this um, human that he has created alive, but in addition, it's going to restore Sophia's power. So they said to him, "Breathe some of your spirit into the face of Adam, and the body will arise." He breathed his spirit into Adam. The spirit is the power of his mother. So when the mother created him, her power went into the son. And when he now has created this human, when he breathes into Adam, that power from his mother is going to go into the human he's created. He didn't realize this because he lives in ignorance. The mother's power went out of Yeol and into the psychical body that had been made to be like the one who was from the beginning. The body moved and became powerful, and it was enlightened. And so, this is why the Gnostics apparently figured out that there was a flaw in their reasoning and included how man could be made by this evil and malevolent creator God, the Oath, and yet still have the image of the invisible spirit, the heavenly God within. Now, so far, the human hasn't been trapped in a human body, and we're going to see how that happens next time.